Hey everybody, today we have an epic guest, a return guest, Johnny Juicer, and this is our first Zoom. So this is very exciting, very good. And I love you, Johnny. Everybody loves you. And you caught my eye on social media recently because you just seem like you're in your like high vibe era. You seem better than ever. I saw you did a long-term juice cleanse recently and then went right into 100% raw. And you seem so dedicated and you're just your stories and all your content is so inspiring. And I can just tell like you're vibing so high, feeling so good. So we want to find out how we can stick to that, feel as good as you. What's been going on? So how's it going?
It's going well. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you have a lot going on in your world right now, and I'm excited to be on here.
Yeah, no, we love having you on. So for anybody who doesn't know, you've been on before. Give us a quick recap before we get into like updates and what's happening. Because you did have a huge transformation way back when. I forget how long ago it was now, when you turned to plant-based foods, to juicing, to a lot of raw foods. And you did lose quite a bit of weight, right? And had a big transformation before this recent kick.
Yes, yes, yeah. It's been a wild ride because, I'll just give a little recap. For most of my life, I was extremely unhealthy, had unhealthy habits. I was a truck driver for 12 years at FedEx and was on meds for my gut, had headaches, migraines. I just was unhealthy. I was 233, I think the heaviest, or 234, the heaviest I was. And in 2012, I saw Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead and adopted the daily juicing habit. I mean, it was a lot of trial and error. I tried a 3-day fast. And I think on the last podcast, I told you after the first day, I went and started eating food. And it was a roller coaster, but over time, I adopted the daily juicing habit. I went vegetarian, went vegan, and actually the vegan went into raw veganism very fast. And this was back in like 2014 because this March was my 11-year vegan anniversary. So,
Wow.
um, yeah, so I was basically raw for from that time until 2020, and it was like roughly just a little under 6 years because it was halfway through 2014 because that was when I had gone vegan. So,
Hmm.
and as I said on my last podcast, I had stopped being raw after my mom had passed because, I'm sure as you feel when you're going through a grieving process, there's nothing really like it, especially when it's your parents. And I was very close to my mom, and I didn't know any other way to get through it. I mean, I wasn't suppressing myself with alcohol or stimulants, but when I think of it now, I was because the cooked food is a stimulant, and
It is.
um, it's ridiculous. I mean, and that's what I'm really excited to talk about in this episode because it's like you think just being vegan is healthy, but it's like I started eating the cooked food and it's extremely addictive when you get to the cooked oils, the fried foods, the processed foods, so I always said, yeah, I'll always be incorporating juicing, but and I'll always be vegan, but and I'll eat high raw. I was giving myself that excuse, but during the grieving process of my mom, which was a solid 2 years, I kind of fell off the wagon a little bit. Was going out all the time, eating out all the time, and I kind of picked myself back up around 2023, 2024. Had a little more structure, started working out harder, going to boxing, and releasing energy in that way. So that led me to this recent fast I embarked on. And it really starts back to last November. I went to Virginia. I go see my aunt and uncle in Virginia every Thanksgiving for the last few years. And we kind of veganized Thanksgiving, but cooked vegan Thanksgiving is very heavy. And so, if, for an example, like I had potatoes, we had vegan stuffing, we had what else did we have? I forget. There was just a bunch of food. There was a lot of food. I had bread, and so and the thing with me is when I'm vegan, eating cooked vegan, I really don't have no restrictions. So it's not like I'm gluten free or anything. I'm just eating. I mean, I do stay away from the Beyond Meats and all that stuff, but for the most part, besides that, there's really no restrictions. So it kind of led me, into the holidays in a wrong way. I did that, and then I went to Chicago. And when I was in Chicago the whole time, I was going to vegan restaurants. I got vegan deep dish pizza. I was And then
Yeah.
that led into yeah, and then that led into coming back in January, and then from January to February, Alondra had closed her restaurant, The Village, and I was spending so much time out there, and I'm like, it's her last month. I'm just going to eat vegan burritos every day, fried food, sushi, and before you know it, from November to January, I actually was on a podcast in Chicago. This was in end of December. And that's when I noticed. It was almost like that moment when I saw myself back, 11 years ago, where I was like, whoa, like I need to do something to change. And here I'm looking at myself in this podcast. I'm like, why do I look so inflamed? Why is my face? And I don't step on the
Wow.
scale. Yeah. And I don't step on the scale, Gillian. And since I had been raw vegan, I was always like 165, 170. And then when I went cook vegan, I was always like, yeah, I'm probably like 185. I was 204.5, which to
No
me is
way.
heavy,
Yeah.
which to me was heavy. And
But
and
look,
I
this was
was,
a good thing because now it led you, like it ends up being a good thing because then
it's,
boom, here you are healthier than ever.
it's amazing, and then we had these California fires out here, and live only like 6.5 miles from the Palisades. So the air quality out here was really bad. And actually, one of the reasons that also prompted me to embark on that fast was I, um, I was sweating when I was working out here, and my skin was burning. And I'm like, what is that? And I attributed it to being outside all the time. I wasn't wearing a mask out here, and people were encouraging to do that because there was all these chemicals and lithium and metals, plastics, Tesla's being burned out here. So stuff we're not used to ingesting. So it kind of prompted me, like, you know what? I need to go back to what works, and I'm going to do a fast. And I wasn't planning on doing a long fast. I was only going to do, actually, I was going to do the month of February. I said, all right, well, the village is going to close. I'm going to start February 1st, and I'm going to fast the whole month of February, 28 days. It's by far the longest fast I've done since I've been in California, which has been, 7 years. So, and that's where everything started.
Wow. And so that's when you did. So you did the whole month of February just juice, right?
I did the whole month of February. Well, I started on day one. I'll never forget this. Day one, I came over, the village closed. I came back to LA. I'm like, all right, time to refill my cup. I'm going to get back to myself. And I said, I'm going to fast the whole month of February. During this time, I was talking to my buddy Nick from Chicago, who has a juice bar. He was embarking on a February fast. And then I had seen Marcus, who I know you've interviewed as well on here.
Oh yeah, Marcus is cool. Yeah.
Marcus is super cool. And I saw him saying he was doing a 40-day fast. So I had gone live on day one to hold myself accountable. I'm like, all right, guys, I'm doing this fast. And Marcus was in my live. He's like, I'm on day 27. I go, bro, come in my live. He came in my live, and I said, you know what? I'm doing 40 days. Screw all of February. I'm going 40. You could do it. I could do it. I'm going to do it. I've done 40 before.
Yeah.
I'm in the space to do so, and I really know it's going to be beneficial for me. I remember when I did my last 40-day fast, I had left a 12-year job, 5-year relationship, and basically the city I was born and raised in, all within a few months span. So it was that transformational for me that just got me so clear and intentional on my path. So I
And
said,
why
you
do you
know
think
what?
that is? Like, why do you think that? Because I see that in so many people where they leave their partner, they get a new job, they're like everything's changing. Why do you think that
I
that happens?
I know why it is. I just experienced it right now again. And that's why I'm still on the raw living foods, because it's something I don't want to let go of. And it's gives me shows me the reason why I got on this whole journey in the first place and stayed raw as long as I did. The reason is it's like a veil lifts. It's like you come out of this docile asleep spell that the food puts you on. Because when they say you are what you eat, I heard Brian Clement say, actually on an interview not too long ago, saying you can't expect to get energy from something that's dead. You can't expect to get life from something that's dead. And that, I mean, resonated back to when my whole journey started. It's like putting a dead battery in a flashlight and expecting it to work. And that's what over time, what I was doing with the cooked food and just processed foods and just mindless eating, no structure, just I'm vegan, so I'm healthy. And that's not the case. I'm going to be 44 this year. And that was another reason. It's like, what am I doing right now? I'm just allowing myself to get on this path of eating mindlessly, getting totally away from the raw foods, because I wasn't eating very high raw. I mean, I would have juices every day. That's always been a non-negotiable. I'll always have juice. I'll have coconut water, and it kind of but still, when you're eating out at restaurants all over LA and ordering food, and
I think you
it
don't even sometimes realize how bad you feel until you get back to the other side on all the raw, right? And then you're like, whoa, after like a couple days, like this is how it's supposed to be all. Because I had that experience recently too. Because as you know, like both my parents died a couple months ago, back to back within 15 days. And I can't talk about it yet, but there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes too with a lot of legal things I can't talk about. And it's just been so insane, like a Netflix movie. I'm literally living in real life. And it's really got to me. And I've never been like have a hard time with discipline, but since my dad's death, it's been like I ate Chipotle a few times. I've been having matcha, cacao all day and just like trying to numb myself with all the stimulants and having the stuff. So I can see how people like get off with it. And then like recently I was just like, I gotta snap myself out of this. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling like I know there's a lot happening outside of me. But when you control what you put inside of you, like it really does then transform the outside in a good way, no matter what's happening. And just either way, it makes life so much better. It's such a huge difference, right? So I got off all the stimulants and like I'm all raw, like eating so clean, feeling it's such a big difference now. Like to even now I had like a taste of like how it is and how people feel. And let me tell you guys, it's no way to live. Like this is the best way to live. Like it's such a massive, massive difference, right? And I can see that from you like doing your juice cleanse. And then like I can feel that like in your stories, like how you feel, right?
it's I'm so grateful. I mean, I thank God almost every day. I mean, I do thank God every day just to find myself back on this path, because it's one thing saying you're vegan and doing great things for the vegan community and saving animals and doing all that for the ethical part, but to actually be on the raw food path is there's nothing that compares to it. Before I was vegan, I played around with paleo. I was, obviously raw for five and a half years. Then went back to cooked vegan. And when I think about it, the time went by so fast because I started eating cooked in 2020. It's 2025.
Hmm.
So it's like that's why I forgot how it feels. It's been 5 years. So getting back this 50 days. So I said that Marcus had inspired me to go 50 days, but Gillian, I was feeling out of my mind. I was feeling so good. And then I went to Florida on day 38 and I was going to break my fast in Florida on day 40 and eat some food out there, some fruit or whatever. And I'll never forget, I was on Marketplace and I found a guy that was selling coconuts $1 a piece, getting them right off the tree. I bought 80 of them. So the whole time I was there, I was fasting on coconuts. This took me to a whole, I'm like, I'm not getting off this
Yeah.
fast. And I
Yeah.
really wanted to go to like 60, 70, but I kind of like, as I was approaching 50, I'm like, all right, I think I'm ready to incorporate food. But the coconut water was next level because it's literally coming off the tree, highest electrolytes in the world. I mean, it's literally electricity going into your body. So I had already been fasted for 38 days on, and I want to say most of the juice I was drinking was citrus because citrus was in season. So I was going to farmer's market every day,
Yeah.
getting the citrus, getting cane juice from friends that juice it here 40 minutes from me. And I would do some green juice from the stuff from the farmer's market, but a lot of it was citrus, cane juice, and then a lot of coconut water. So, and during this time also, I was rebounding every day. I was getting infrared saunas. I did 4 colonics, was doing enemas very frequently, I was eliminating through the bowels. I was sweating. So it was very profound. I had a rash that started developing on my head like
Oh,
14 days in.
no
And then
way.
like yeah, and by like day and I'm upset I didn't take no pictures of it, but my roommate, Alondra, I mean, they had seen it and they're like, yeah, I don't know what that is, but it had finally gone away. And there was just a lot of crazy experiences I was feeling. But like I said, when I was in Miami, I was like, yo, I feel like I had broke some type of cheat code in life because I felt like I was on the limitless pill. I'm like, I am not coming off of this. It felt so good. And there was never no intention to go back to eating 100% raw. Never. I actually bought a $600 uni pizza oven on my fast
I love it.
with the intention of, I grew up in an Italian family, and
Yeah.
that was the Italian tradition that my grandparents brought is having pizza every Friday. We had family and friends and neighbors, and then my mom carried on the tradition. And always been a big family guy and close to my family, and a lot of them are deceased now. So I said, you know what? Since I don't want to eat it out as much, I'm going to get a pizza. I'm going to make my own tradition, make my own dough, make vegan pizzas. And the pizza oven sat here. for like 3 weeks after my fast. And I looked and I'm like, you know what? It's, I don't want it. I'm gonna break out my dehydrator, which is on my counter right now, and I'm gonna make a dehydrated pizza. Like I had no desire to incorporate cooked food. Like I was feeling so good on being raw once I came back. I broke the fast with cantaloupe, then I had a big salad at night. And the next day I was like, I feel incredible. I had amazing bowel movements. And I'm like, all right, another juice. And I just didn't, like I said, no desire to go back to the cooked food because I was feeling so good and still am feeling so good. It's like this everyday high, you
I
know.
can tell. And like keep it up because it just keeps transforming your life. It just makes your life experience better, right? And were you drinking a lot in a day? Because a lot of people like to know how much you're drinking. Do you drink a lot when you juice cleanse or no?
It depends. Some days I was drinking a lot, some days I wasn't. When I was in Florida, I was drinking a gallon of coconut water every day. So that was about 9 coconuts off the tree. It
Hmm.
would make about a gallon. So I'd crack the coconuts, pour them in, and I was drinking about a gallon. When I was here, I would say I drank close to 64 ounces of cane juice every day. I drank about 24 to 32 ounces of coconut water. I drank about a gallon every day.
Yeah, okay.
I
And
would say, give or take.
yeah, did you see anything crazy come out of you? Because I know you said you cleared out a lot, and it's such a huge connection, right? Between what's stored in us and old waste and our gut and our bowels.
Yeah.
Then you get that out, and like that's why you feel really good, right? So you hear some people say like they get really old stuff out, parasites. Was there anything crazy that came out that if you want to share?
Well, I was also taking parasite herbs for 18 days. I finished a whole bottle. And during that time, I was also doing colonics and enemas. So when I was doing the enemas, I know a lot of people aren't too, keen on them, but I was doing coffee enemas as well. So I wasn't looking in there to see.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
I do think it's a great possibility because I know I was eliminating a lot for the you know, couple weeks. I mean, every day. So, and this is even when I wasn't, probably longest I went without a bowel movement was only like 2 or 3 days. And then if it was like 3 days, I'd do an enema and still stuff was coming out, still eliminating. So yeah, I didn't really go digging in the toilet to see, but
Yeah,
I'm
I get
sure.
it. I get it. Yeah, maybe it's better. So I guess you notice a big difference though, right? How you felt juicing versus how you were feeling on the cooked food before. And like, what do you think helped keep you on track? Because I know it can be so hard to do 50 days. It could be so hard to even get through 2 days, right?
I in January, I told myself as soon as the village closes, after these LA fires, after I saw myself on a podcast, the one that I did in Chicago, I kind of, and I said this in the podcast in Chicago, I said the Scorpio in me is very like when I get into something or if I want to do something, I'm, all in. And I was telling myself, I'm gonna fast. I'm gonna fast. I'm gonna do an extended fast. I did one leading up to my birthday last year. And
Hmm.
then after my birthday in November, Thanksgiving, the holidays, and then that's when I really fell off. But I did 12 days leading up to my birthday, and I came off of it because the excuse I gave myself was I want to go eat at Pura Vida because my birthday was on a Sunday. It's like the
Yeah.
best vegan Italian comfort food around here in LA. But I knew, I said in my story that day, I go, I'm going to stop it at 12 days, but I know my body is feeling called to do a longer one. And in January, that's what I said. I go, I'm going to do a long one. And I've done them so many times that as soon as you get past the first couple of days, I could probably go 100 days, three. I mean, Gillian, I'm going to tell you this too. During my fast, I was watching so many of your videos. I watched the video of that girl that fasted for 365 days
Yeah, so
and was
inspiring.
I was so inspired by her. I watched a dude that fasted for 100 days. So, not to get off subject, but I thank you a lot because just like when I started my journey, I was always looking for inspiration. And at the time, it was Dan McDonald, Holy Rock Christina. That's like all that was consistently posting back,
Yeah.
12 years ago. So now you have done so much work since you've come into this community, and it's so amazing and valuable. Like
Good.
I was just binge watching your stuff. This is what I would do when I would rebound every day. I would watch your videos and your interviews on my projector on my wall while I rebounded for 20, 25 minutes every day. That got me, and all of a sudden the interview's done and I'm done. So it was really
Yeah.
cool.
Keeps you motivated, right?
100%, 100%. It's if people It's hard for some people because of their surroundings and their environment, because a lot of people are resistant to stuff like that. I didn't know anybody that was doing 50-day fasts like in my around me. But what's really cool is after I completed mine, Alondra did a 12-day fast. My roommate did a 10-day fast and a 3-day water fast. Friends of mine in San Diego did a 10-day or 14-day juice fast, then went raw. So, I mean, people around me started seeing the effects that it was having on me, and then they got inspired to do so. And that's basically what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. And so overall, you had a lot of benefits, and then you went into raw. So you've been raw since then, right? Like I think pretty fully raw.
100%.
And so you,
100% raw. Not
yeah.
even close to anything cooked. And I don't even want anything close to being cooked. I'm feeling the best I think I ever have in my whole life. And I think it's because of the experience I've had during the 5 years. Because every year being raw, when I first got into it, was different. I got into the gourmet raw, then it was mostly liquids, then it was fruitarian, then it was, so everything was different. And right now I feel very balanced. And also one thing I did is this, Gillian, my whole life I struggled with eating late,
Hmm.
always. Even when I was 100% raw before, I'd eat 10 mangoes at midnight, didn't matter. It didn't matter the time of day. I'm just like, oh, it doesn't matter the time I eat. Since coming off this fast, I have a 6 hour window every day that I eat. So I stop eating after 7 o'clock. I don't eat till 1 o'clock every day. And it's very structured now. And I'm so present with my food, and I'm so grateful for my food and everything that I put in my mouth, that I feel like that's been very powerful as well, because I feel my digestion's been incredible. My energy's been incredible. I wake up super energized and ready to, do whatever it is I need to do. And the joy, just the high levels of joy that I have every day is crazy. Like I'll be singing in the car, and it's real. It's real. Like, and I wish, I had a conversation with somebody the other day about like how my family, they're not the healthiest, and they're older, and there's diagnoses and people are overweight, and I have conversations with people in my family, and it's like, God, I've been doing this so long, and I've gone off and came back on, and it's like, and they see that I just did this 50-day fast. It's like, I just wish that they would adopt this. It's like we just wish the closest people to us would
Hmm.
just try it, and because I said it in a live, I just wish people can experience the high of this, because it's like I said, I did the paleo thing before I went vegan. Then I went vegan, raw, cooked vegan. Nothing compares to eating raw food. Nothing. Nothing. Not even close. And I used to justify my actions going out to restaurants and stuff. But as a matter of fact, I can't wait to go see Lou Corona on the first.
Oh,
I
good.
can't wait to go see him on the first.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love this for you. You just seem so excited about life and like it's really
Yeah.
working. So what are you eating in a day raw? Like what's your like meal plan look like? Because it's really working, right?
Yes. So like I said, I don't eat after 7. And some days, yesterday, my last meal was at 6:15. I had a big salad. Salads have been my thing now. I go to the farmer's market all the time. I go to two out here, Mar Vista and the Culver City one. And romaine and butter lettuce are like my staples. And then I've been sprouting like crazy. Sprouting's been a big thing that I never really used to incorporate. So I just jarred all my sprouts, but sprouts, microgreens in my salads, cucumbers, tomatoes, dulse. I've just been making huge salads. And when I say huge, and being present with it, it's not like I'm eating fast and doing other things. I'm sitting there eating, chewing, enjoying every bite. And that's usually my dinner. My days start with water. I always have about 40 ounces of hydrogen water, restructured water, into the coconut water. And then
Hmm.
I'll go to the gym, and my first meal will be a smoothie, a protein smoothie after I'm done. And it's about 35 ounces, and it's coconut water. Hey, it's
Hey, Victoria. How was
hey
school?
Victoria. It's so the smoothie usually is always
This way too.
coconut water,
Yeah.
banana, cacao, dark cherries, and then I use the Pure protein powder, and I'll throw a date or two in there. And it's like I love it. I'm upset. I can't wait after my workout to start drinking that. And I drink that very slow as well, because I notice when I'll drink, even though it's Pure
Yeah.
protein, it's still when I'm drinking a smoothie fast after, even though it's the first thing going into my body, I do tend to feel I'll get a little bloated for like, about half hour. But so I kind of am like really, I'll be drinking it a little bit all the way on my way home, and then I'll finish it. And I'll have an avocado every day after my smoothie is like the very first thing I have, and I'll throw some salt, a little sea salt, or not salt, I'm sorry, the black salt, not sea salt,
Oh,
with cayenne pepper.
cayenne is so
Because that
good.
sulfur, it gives it like a interesting taste, and I
Mm.
like love that.
Yeah.
Then from there, I make my juice. I
Wow.
make my juice, eat my fruit, and then I can't wait for my salad. And some days I have, if my workout is really hard, or if I because some days I work out twice. I've been working out twice a day because I just have the energy to do so. So
Yeah.
I'll have two smoothies, two protein smoothies.
Yeah.
But it's working, and I
It's
realize
working.
less is more. And as long as it's nutrient dense and it's living and it's vibrant, I'm good. I haven't been hungry one time. Only when I'm after the gym and my body's like, all right, I'm ready for this smoothie, which is always like around 1 p.m. So it's been a very awesome journey.
Good. I can see it's been so positive. And that's the thing, when you eat living food, like you feel alive. And so has there been a weight loss? Because you said you stepped on it, it was in the twos. So have you weighed yourself since or no?
Yeah, I weighed myself the day I came off the fast. I was 178.6, I believe. And I weighed myself yesterday at boxing because we'll weigh ourselves, and I was 182. So I've only gained 3 pounds since being off my fast, and I believe it's mostly muscle. I've been doing a lot of push-ups every day. I feel strong, so it's like I'm building back strong. Like
Yeah.
just lean muscle, and I feel solid. And it's just Jillian. I can't tell you, it's been just such a blessing.
Good.
Because
And
it's
it'll
just
just
pouring
get
out every.
better. The longer you go, it'll just get better, you know? That's
Yeah,
what I
and I
feel
feel
like.
that, and I
Yeah.
feel that.
And
So
I love that you're doing the intermittent fasting. Like that's such a game changer. Whenever I do that, I feel better than ever. It's really huge. I think no matter how people eat, if they just incorporate the intermittent fasting, they'll for sure feel like tremendously better, right? Most of the time.
100%. So after my last meal, I walk Noah for about a half hour, and I come back, and when I say I do another workout, it's rebounding. So I'll rebound and watch something, and then I'll plan my day for the next day, and then I go to bed. I've been getting to bed earlier. That's another thing. I used to stay
Yeah.
up late at night, and it's like this whole fast auto corrected my body to just getting back into alignment with what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm not letting it go. Like it was funny. I went to Wild Living Foods, this raw restaurant here in LA. And I saw a lady there. She's like, Johnny Juicer, I followed your whole journey. She's like, don't you go back to eating cooked. She goes, because I will find me. Don't you go back. She goes, I love this Johnny. This is the real Johnny I know.
Yeah.
So, and when she told me that, it's like, no, this is the real Johnny that this whole journey started with, is the juicing and the raw foods. And it's I feel like I'm most at service and most creative and most, you know, when I'm in this group. So it feels really good.
Me too. Like you just feel like your highest best self, like your real self, like something's connected. And I just feel like when you do the juicing, when you eat really clean, doesn't it kind of just feel like you release resistance? And then your life becomes better
100%.
because when we have resistance, it kind of blocks things in our life and creates problems, right? So when you release that resistance, it just, I don't know, life just changes, right?
That's a beautiful point. That's actually a great point. You do release resistance because I was resistant to a lot before, and it's like something just changes. It's hard to explain. It's just something lifts, and you just feel peace, and you just feel joy, and it's just every day is going to work out regardless of what's going on, and it's just a beautiful journey.
Yeah, and I'm glad like you're big into the movement because I think that's huge too, right? The movement. I think it's not all food. Like I know some people that live to like 108 and really thriving in like their 90s and they say it's because they walk so much and like they move so much. When you were working at FedEx, I didn't know you worked at FedEx. Were you still moving and like don't you think it's important if people have jobs where they have to sit a lot that we somehow find a way to get moving, right? With whatever excites us or just get into something to get that movement?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was moving. I mean, I had a lot of stops, but I would also go to the gym and work out, but it was very, I'd go lift and then take my whey protein and,
Hmm.
go eat fast food. There was no connection with food. It was just like working out is healthy. I didn't think food had anything to do with it. Obviously, I knew that like McDonald's wasn't the healthiest choice, but I didn't think it was as bad as I understand it to be now in all fast food. So yeah, but movement is huge. Movement is medicine for sure. And I make sure like Noah gets me out walking every day. So I walk him in the morning, I walk him midday, walk him at night. I still go to boxing. I've been getting more into calisthenics and doing more pull-ups and my own body movement stuff and been doing handstands and just stuff I had not even attempted in years. And it's the raw food. It's just giving me this inspiration to move and do things differently. And it's been awesome.
And your life, it's changed a lot over this last like couple months with all this?
I feel like I've been cloned. I feel like somebody cloned me into a
Wow.
different vehicle. They took my consciousness, put me in a different I mean, I feel like in a totally different space. I feel like in a totally different space.
Wow. And Noah. So Noah is still thriving. I can see on social media. We all love Noah.
No, it's
So how is Noah's vegan, right? Yeah, Noah the vegan. And is he raw? Like I always see him, like you'll be eating salads and you share like the sprouts and stuff with him. I love how he just grabs these foods. So for people
yeah.
watching, like how do we get our dogs more into raw food?
Yeah, I got blessed early because I adopted him right when I started my vegan journey. It was because my vegan journey was kind of ethical. The health stuff came along with it, because I had seen Earthlings and I adopted him after seeing that whole puppy mill segment. I'm like, oh my God, I want to go to a shelter. And that's where I found Noah. And I was juicing during that time, obviously, because I was vegan. I was juicing every day and I'd turn on the Breville and that juicer is so loud, it sounded like an airplane was taking off. And he would come running
Yeah.
in the kitchen and jump on me. And I would think that it was like too loud for him or something, but he would jump on me because he knew I was juicing. And I was like, what does this guy want? So I'd give him kale, he'd take it. Carrot, same thing. He'd eat the whole carrot like this. And his body's like this. And he'd eat the whole thing. So and that's when I started seeing people that had written books on dogs being plant-based. I had friends in the community that had had their dogs plant-based for years, and so found a vet that was open to it, and
God.
just kind of strategically did our own thing. And even now, like now that I'm sprouting, sprouts are going in his food. Raw spirulina from the farmer's market, freshly harvested, is going in his food. He loves it.
I
I'm
love
blessed that
this. Yeah.
he takes Shilajit, a supplement that I swear by that I take every day. He puts it in his mouth, he swallows it. Sea moss. I mean, he takes. I'm so grateful he loves what's good for him.
And how
So
old is he now?
he's 11. He's around 11, maybe a little bit older. When I adopted him, they said he was around 6 months.
Okay. When I see him, he looks like he's got the energy of a puppy.
He does
So
still have the energy of a puppy for
like
sure.
it's working. He looks great. Okay. Because I have a new dog and I was like, hey, I'm trying to get him to eat like the raw foods. And he's like, no. And then I was at my friend's. She has a puppy pug and he's like eating all my raw vegetables. I was like, I love it. I want to get Rocky, my dog, on board. So you have a book on that, right?
Yes, I have an ebook on that as well.
Yeah, okay, so I'll put that down below. And okay, so any advice too for somebody watching who wants to get into a juice cleanse? They want to hop on, they want to stick on like you did, whether it's like 7 days, 10, 30, even 2 days, or also somebody who wants to get into raw. Because like this is just like such a life-changing lifestyle. So
It's transformative. It's so hard to put into words how powerful it is. All I can say to people, and I've watched people on your podcast, I've seen people talk about juicing isn't good and juice fast, you shouldn't juice fast for so long. All I could say is going these 50 days just put me in a whole different reality. It really did when I say that. And I feel like I tell my sister this all the time, come live with me for a month. I will change your life. If you fast and do it strategically for a period of time, your life will change. Your thoughts will change. Your
yeah.
perspective will change. When your perspective changes, your life changes. So everything starts changing around you. You start feeling better. You start eliminating more. You start getting rid of all the old waste that your emotions and all this stuff is tied to. And you start being able to put in new stuff and start rebuilding your gut and it's just and like I said before, I had left all that and moved to a new city. And it's the same thing now. It's like I feel like I can do anything I want. It's so powerful. And if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling Like, you don't know what you want to do, fast, jump into it. I promise you, it is life changing. And people around me that have done it, people I've coached throughout the years, seeing their transformation. And the problem is, a lot of times people will do a cleanse, and like me, I didn't have no intention to get into the raw food. I was going to go right back to the cooked food. But what would that have done to me? It's a slippery slope. I would have went right back probably to what I was doing. But being back here, it kind of, like I said, my taste buds were not had no desire for cooked food. It's like, all right, salads. Salads are like, I've never craved salad as much as I do now. I love salads. So
And salads are so healthy. Like I watch this doctor now on YouTube. I don't know if she's vegan or not. I forget her name, Dr. Lou or something. And I watch her videos and she says like the number one thing you can eat to prevent cancer is greens. I don't know if it's true, don't hold me to it, but obviously they're so healthy, right? So I'm glad you eat the salads. I think all the greens, they just do something for us, right?
100%. I hear watercress is one of the most nutrient dense foods on the planet. Yeah, I've actually done a video with Chris Beats Cancer and him talking about all the foods, greens, and I mean, there's so much conflicting information, carnivore versus vegan in this. Get back to the living foods, get back to the plants. The salads have been so nourishing and satiating for me, especially when I'm adding the microgreens and the sprouts, something that I never used to do when I was even 100% raw before. And it's just been game changing. It's my food's been nourishment. It's not like before where it's like, all right, I'll meet you at Planta and we'll have some appetizers or whatever. And yeah, I'll eat some chips or I'll do this or I'll, it's none of that no more. I can't wait to have this smoothie to nourish my body and rebuild my muscles after I just broke them down. I can't wait to
Mhm.
have this avocado. I can't wait to have this nourishing. Everything is nourishment now, and I feel great. And I look at myself, and I'm very happy with where I'm at. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So it's just been incredible. And I really feel like if people embarked on the juice cleanse and, like I said, did it strategically and believed in it, and didn't after one day say, "Oh, I miss food so much." Just trust the process. Trust the
Yeah.
process.
I tried to get my mom on a juice cleanse. So I was living with my mom for a while this year before she passed, taking care of her, because I knew my dad was here in Florida in the hospital and had care. So I went down to look after her. And she got into juicing because she had cancer. She had stage 4 breast cancer, metastatic, and it was in the lymph as well. And the first time she had cancer a couple years ago, they took out like a ton of her lymph nodes too. Like, and then ever since then, like her arm was swelling up because she wasn't living a healthy lifestyle too. And she lost like part of her lymph system. And so, anyway, she did get into juicing a bit through her cancer. And she would always say, "Oh, I feel so much better on the days I have my green juice." And I was like, we got to do a juice cleanse. Like, I was really trying when I was there. I was like, let's do a juice cleanse, like just juice, only juice, because she loved her juice and she loved green juice. So I was like, this could like just give you your best chance. And it was just, she just couldn't. I don't know. I wish she could have, though. I think who knows? But she had addictions. It was hard. She was really addicted to vape. She owned a restaurant where they sold, it was like a steakhouse. She ate a lot of those rotisserie chickens through her life and just not healthy, right? Like the vaping for the smoking and then vaping for decades and then the meat and then like not moving, right? It sucks, but she did get a taste of it. And the first time she had cancer a couple years ago, she went raw. Like she got diagnosed and it's the first time I heard her cry. She wasn't emotional like me. She's very like that British, like not no emotion like her dad. And it was the first time I heard her cry. And then she went raw for 30 days. And I never saw her like this. She was like, I never felt better in my life. I've never felt this good. It was like amazing. But then she fell off and then she got scared. She did some treatments and then she got rid of it, but then it came back. Because if you don't change your habits, right? Like, I mean, I'm not God. I'm not saying that I'm not going to ever get anything and that I'm like, I know all the answers because I don't. I could be wrong about everything I'm talking about. But I think we know we give ourselves our best chance if we eat raw, living, clean foods and get movement, right? And avoid those toxins.
Yeah, it's cause and effect. It really
Hmm.
is. When you really think of it, it's cause and effect. What are we doing in our lives? What are we doing that is accumulating over time? People believe that when they get diagnosed with cancer, it just came from outer space and it just hit them and they're unlucky.
Hmm.
But it's like you said, it's the years of diet, unhealthy lifestyle, stress, no movement, lack of movement, and not moving the lymphatic system, right? Not eliminating. So, and it's sad because I know so many people that have, reverse cancer. I know, like I said this in the last podcast with you, my friend Lori, who lives in Colorado. She's like 11 years cancer free, I believe now, and she was stage 4, and
Wow.
she did Gerson. But the sad thing is people are just so reliant on Western medicine, and it's sad because like in my case, I have a lot of family who has cancer currently,
Hmm.
and are they going to listen to little Johnny, or are they going to listen to their medical doctors that have, their degrees and push
Hmm.
medicine that their insurance pays for the medicine?
Yeah. And like I said before too, what we do now is it's just like that quote, like what you
This
eat.
is healthcare. This is
Yeah.
healthcare. How we're living
Yeah.
is our healthcare. I always said that. It's like, and I was going down the other route, Gillian. I mean, up until this fast, looking at myself, feeling the way I felt, my digestion not being the best, I was going down that route again. So I caught myself. So I'm not perfect. My journey
Yeah.
has not been perfect at all.
Yeah.
I was extremely unhealthy living that conventional Western medicine or Western diet before I went vegan, then raw. Then I went back to the vegan food, but it wasn't healthy. And it got
Hmm.
me right back to where I was. And I had to find myself again. So it's not going to be a perfect journey, but this is your healthcare.
True.
Every choice you make, whether you decide to go to the gym or go to sit on the couch, whether you go make a green juice or go into fast food, every choice is cause and effect, and it will catch up to you over time.
Yeah, I feel like we want the majority of our choices to be good, right? Because all these habits add up. And like I was saying with my mom, she was only 67, right? It's pretty young. Like, look, I'm 42, you're, I think 44, you were saying, right? Or turning 44.
I'll be 44 in November.
Yeah, so like look how close our 60s are, you know? It's only 20 years away. It's crazy to pass at 67. It's just like it's crazy. So we just got to be out here doing the best we can, taking care of ourselves, making the right choices. And your taste buds change too. Because I know, like, I'm sure probably when you're eating the cooked food and like not eating so good and you're saying you're inflamed and you're overweight, you probably like didn't want the raw foods then, right? So I think people don't even realize because it's hard when you just want that like stuff that's not serving us. And then you have a hard time understanding in your head, well, if I just get more into that, I will just want that. It's hard to get from like the A to B, I think.
I'm so happy you brought that up because that was something I wanted to bring up in this podcast. When I first moved out here, Wild Living Foods and Peace Pies are two raw vegan restaurants. And I did a lot of traveling, public speaking. And those are two of the best, probably the best raw vegan restaurants I've ever been to. Ever. They're incredible. Peace Pies is amazing. Wild Living Foods is amazing. I can't pick one over the other because I love them both. I love the owners are great too. So they're both great in their own respect. So when I moved here, I would always go to Wild Living Foods, get a meal here and there on the weekends because I live close to it. And then I would have some ice cream. They have the raw vegan ice cream. And then when I'd be in San Diego, I'd go to Peace Pies. Guess what? When I went to cook food, I never went there. I never wanted to go there. I'm like, I don't have a taste for that. I want to go to Planta. I want to go to Crossroads. I want to go eat the vegan junk, the restaurant food with the oils and the fried and the, you
Yeah.
know, and even when I was in San Diego, like at the village, I would eat the village food. I mean, they had healthy options, but because I was already down that, I chose to have burritos, and fried burritos. And I mean, it was, so your taste buds overtake you, and then you're obviously all the addictions that come from the cooked oils and fats and all that stuff and salts. So I had no desire for cooked food. I had no desire to make a salad. Like, no way. I'll have a green juice. I was still drinking my juices, but I didn't want to make a salad. I didn't want to. If I made a smoothie, it wouldn't be like it is now, or even fruit. I wouldn't eat fruit in abundance like I do now. So yeah, 100%. Like I didn't want to go near a raw food restaurant when I was eating the cooked stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to indulge in this. I'm going to have a vegan pizza. I don't want
Yeah.
no raw pizza. Then when you change your taste buds to what they're supposed to be, that zucchini crust pizza that I made in the dehydrator, out of this world, out of this world.
See, we crave what's in us, I feel like. Did you notice a difference? Like, I know with a lot of people, the whites in the eyes really change. Like, when we're not eating our
Oh yeah,
best, they don't look as white, right?
100%. The whites in my eyes, yeah, a lot has changed. There's been a lot that I've noticed, and because we know ourselves so much.
Hmm.
I've noticed so many things about myself that have
Yeah.
changed. So,
Well,
and I
keep it
saw a
up.
quote. Yeah, I saw a quote on the journey. It's like taking your power back is learning to fall in love with your own energy, and you can't do that unless you are, like I couldn't do that 2 months ago because, yeah, of course, people say, yeah, I have self love. But when you really have self love, you will put And it's not to say, oh, I'm a raw vegan or I don't eat after 7. This is what's great and optimal for my body. This is what's making me feel my best, look my best, create my best, be the best to people around me, be more loving, be more joyful, be more grateful.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't I do that? You know? So
Mm-hmm. Well, amazing. I've loved this. To end off, do you have, I'd like to know maybe like you know so much about health. You've been in this game for a long time now. Maybe like what's your number one biggest thing you feel like you've learned about health or you would like to share if you could leave like something behind, like one big thing, and then let everybody know where they can find you.
so hard saying one big thing because my one big thing has always been adopt the daily juicing habit. I think that's just a great way to get massive amounts of raw fruits and vegetables into your diet. But you know, when I first went raw vegan, I used to tell everybody, "You got to go raw vegan. Raw vegan's the only way. This is this." But there's so much more. And Karen Calabrese used to tell me this too. She's like, honey, I got the hyperbaric chamber. I rebound. I have my water ritual. And that's a big thing for me too. Every morning I have my little water ritual. I take my supplements and it's like sacred to me. It's like kind of before I start my day. You know, so there's so many things. It's the movement, it's the raw food,
Mm-hmm.
it's the breathing, it's the grounding, it's the sunlight that contribute to this life. There's so many things out there, especially like we were talking about earlier. This is your healthcare, and there's so many free forms of healthcare: sunlight, walking barefoot outside, moving your body, going for a walk. So
Mm-hmm.
when you
All the
feel
best
like
things
you're
really are free, right? If you think about it.
100%, your breath. I mean, everything. So yeah, it's like all I could say is 2 months ago, I did never thought I can be in this space again. The way I feel, the way I look, the way I'm just full of life again, you know, and it's probably the best space I've ever been in my life. And I'm just so grateful for it. So if you are on the fence about doing a juice cleanse, I highly encourage you to do so.
Yeah, and we use the same juicer. You're part of the Nama family now, right? Are you
Love
loving it?
Nama.
It's so good.
Love it.
I'm so glad you finally got a Nama and used Nama.
Nothing compares. You know, you, Brett, Christina, oh, when I was like pushing the Green Star, they're like, yo, you got to get on the, not, you told me at the first interview, you go, yeah, it's cool, you do Travis. This is the real deal. And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
right.
it's
And
a
then
big
now,
difference.
yeah, it doesn't leave my counter. That, the M1, the dehydrator, my distill, like my whole kitchen is just, yeah, yeah.
Amazing.
I love the
Well,
M1 too. That's another thing I wanted to say. I've been incorporating a lot of nut and seed milk. And that's something I never used to do. But because of how easy and convenient that machine is, it's great. And
yeah.
sometimes with that, I won't do coconut water. I'll do hemp milk. I love hemp
Oh
milk.
yeah, hemp milk is good in there. I forgot I haven't done hemp milk in a while, but I use that machine every day. I remember when they told me they were coming out with that machine, I was thinking, well, you can make milk in the juicer. I was thinking,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
what? But then I saw it and I used it. I was like, this is the most insane machine. It's actually my favorite machine. My friend was here this morning and then somebody was making a cafe mocha in it. And then she was like, oh my God, what is this? So I showed her everything and she was just like, this machine's insane. It's really nice. Yeah. So the
Yeah.
machines are great. I'm so glad you came over to Nama because it just makes the lifestyle easier, makes it fun. And I think I'm going to make a green juice right after this interview. I need to get a green juice.
Yeah.
I just
Me,
love them.
yeah, me too. And you're so right. I mean, I'm so grateful to have the J2 and the M1 because it's like when you have appliances like that, it makes life so much easier. I mean, you press a
Yeah.
button and in a minute you have whatever type of milk you want. Like, come
Yeah.
on, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's insane.
I see you
So
feed the squirrels. The squirrel eats the milk too. You're like, that's amazing.
they drink the milk. It was raw pecan milk. Yeah, yeah,
Living it up out there. They're living it
yeah,
up. I love it. That's good.
yeah.
Well, Johnny, you're amazing. You're a great addition to this planet. We love you. We love having you
Uh,
on here. You're so inspiring. And just keep it up because I just feel like your path, you're just going to keep vibing higher and higher and just expanding more and more. And it's just going to create nothing but goodness for you on this path. I feel like this is your destiny. And I feel like your mama is so proud of you up above. And we all
uh,
love you. So, yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this podcast. I'll put everything for Johnny down below. I'll put the links for the juicer if you guys want one. I'll put codes down below to save. And I'll pop the podcast Johnny and I did in LA. That was really good on the screen right now. And another one as well. Check out one of those. And we love you guys. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.